they were in serious trouble. The statue was coming to life, and it wouldn't stop until it had taken their souls. Uduma let out a desperate shout as he grabbed Avuekwe, trying to pull her away. But it was too late. The statue's power was overwhelming, and it started to pull them toward its bright, glowing eyes. His one eye filled with dread as he understood he was about to lose the girl he promised to protect. He felt like he was losing himself too. In a quiet village called Ensues, there was a mysterious man named Uduma who had only one eye. He lived alone on the edge of the village, and the villagers both feared and respected him. They believed he had magical abilities that he used to help those in trouble. One day, a young girl named Avuekwe disappeared. She had gone into the forest to pick herbs for her mother's cooking, but never came back. Her family searched everywhere, but there was no sign of her. As the sun set on the second day without Avuekwe, her parents were filled with panic. They understood the forest was dangerous, and they worried about their daughter's safety. In their desperation, they sought out Uduma, the one-eyed man known for his mystical powers. They pleaded with him to help find their daughter, and Uduma agreed to help. He ventured into the forest, his single eye scanning the area as he walked. He moved quietly, making hardly any noise on the forest floor. As he continued, the forest became darker and more frightening. The trees seemed to tower over him, their branches creaking in the wind. But Uduma was not scared. He knew he had the strength to protect himself and others. After what felt like hours, Uduma stumbled upon a clearing. In the middle stood a huge, twisted tree that looked ancient. He approached it, noticing something shifting in the shadows. As he got closer, he realized it was Avuekwe, the girl who was missing. She sat at the base of the tree, looking dazed and pale. Uduma hurried to her, his heart racing with worry and hope. "Avuekwe, my dear," he said softly. "What happened? How did you end up here?" Avuekwe gazed up at Uduma, her eyes a bit unfocused. I don't really know," she stuttered. "I was just picking herbs, and then I saw something. Something that made me run away." Uduma narrowed his one eye. "What did you see?" he asked, his tone serious. Avuekwe paused, her eyes flicking around nervously. I saw a shape," she finally admitted. "A shape with glowing eyes. It was staring at me, and I felt like I had to escape." Uduma's expression darkened. He understood that Avuekwe had come across something dangerous, something that could endanger not just her life, but her very spirit. Without thinking twice, Uduma lifted Avuekwe and started to head back through the woods. As they moved, the trees seemed to loom larger and more threatening, their branches stretching out like bony fingers. Uduma sensed that they were being watched, that cold eyes were fixed on them from the shadows. He picked up his speed, his one eye scanning the area for any hint of danger. But even as he hurried, Uduma couldn't shake the feeling that they were being led toward an unknown destiny. The forest appeared to twist and turn around them, guiding them deeper into its core. Then, out of nowhere, the trees opened up, and they stumbled into a clearing. In the middle stood a gigantic stone statue, its eyes glowing with an eerie light. Uduma's one eye widened in fear as he realized they had entered a sacred grove, a place filled with ancient power and dark magic. The statue was a guardian, a watcher that protected the grove and its secrets. Avuekwe, still a bit dazed, moved closer to the statue, her eyes locked on it. Uduma tried to pull her back, but she was too fast. As she reached out to touch the statue, the air around them crackled with energy. The statue began to shine, its eyes blazing with a fierce, evil light. Uduma knew they were in serious trouble. The statue was coming to life, and it wouldn't stop until it had taken their souls. Uduma let out a desperate shout as he grabbed Avuekwe, trying to pull her away. But it was too late. The statue's power was overwhelming, and it started to pull them toward its bright, glowing eyes. His one eye filled with dread as he understood he was about to lose the girl he promised to protect. He felt like he was losing himself too. Then, everything went dark. When Uduma woke up, he found himself on the forest floor, his head pounding with pain. As he slowly sat up, he looked around, trying to piece together what had happened. The forest was silent, with only the sounds of birds chirping and leaves rustling in the breeze. But as he scanned the area, he noticed that Avuekwe was missing. He called out her name, panic rising in his chest, but there was no answer. Uduma's heart sank as he realized he had failed to keep her safe. The statue's power had taken her away. Determined to find her, he started searching the forest, retracing the path they had taken earlier. As he walked, the forest grew darker and more threatening. The trees loomed over him, their branches stretching out like bony fingers. Uduma felt like he was being watched, as if unseen eyes were following him from the shadows. He quickened his steps, his one eye scanning for any signs of danger. But no matter how fast he moved, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being led towards something terrible. The forest twisted around him, guiding him deeper into its depths. Suddenly, he stumbled into a clearing. In the middle stood the statue, its eyes glowing with an eerie light. Uduma's heart raced in fear as he realized he had been drawn back to the statue. He knew he was in trouble, that the statue's power would soon take him too. As he gazed at the statue, Uduma's heart raced when he noticed something unexpected. Avuekwe was right next to it, her expression blank and her skin ghostly white. Hope surged within Uduma as he realized she was still alive. He dashed toward her, arms wide open. But just as he reached out to her, the statue's eyes blazed with energy. A powerful force shot through Uduma, sending him crashing to the ground. When he looked up, he saw a flicker of recognition in Avuekwe's eyes. She took a hesitant step forward, then another, her movements awkward and slow. Joy filled Uduma as he understood she was coming back to him. But when she reached out to touch him, the statue's eyes flared with energy once more. This time, a sharp pain coursed through Uduma's body. He cried out in agony as he felt his very essence being pulled away. Looking up at Avuekwe, he realized she had changed. Her eyes were now pitch black, and her skin was unnaturally pale. She was no longer the person he knew, but a host for the statue's sinister power. Uduma's heart shattered as he understood he had lost her. The statue's dark energy had taken her away, leaving him with nothing. As he felt his life slipping away, Uduma knew he had failed. He couldn't save Avuekwe, nor could he overcome the statue's evil force. As the shadows surrounded him, Uduma realized he would never see daylight again. The forest had taken him, and he would remain lost in its depths forever. Uduma's lifeless form rested on the ground, while the statue's eyes shone with a strange, eerie light. Avuekwe, now under the statue's dark influence, stood still beside it. The forest was eerily quiet, as if it were waiting for something to happen. Suddenly, the statue's voice broke the silence. "Uduma, the one-eyed warrior has failed," it boomed, its voice echoing through the trees. He could not save the innocent, or conquer the darkness. Now, he will be swallowed by it. As the statue spoke, the ground began to shake. The trees creaked and swayed, their branches moving as if in warning. Then, a swirling mass of darkness appeared next to Uduma's lifeless body. It grew larger, becoming a huge whirlpool that seemed to draw everything in. The statue's eyes glowed even brighter, as if it thrived on the darkness. Avuekwe, still under its spell, started to move toward the vortex. "Stop!" a voice shouted from the forest. "Avuekwe, don't go." It was Avuekwe's mother, desperately searching for her daughter. She ran toward the vortex, but it was too late. Avuekwe was already pulled in, disappearing without a trace. The vortex vanished just as quickly, leaving only a faint memory behind. The forest fell silent again, mourning Avuekwe's loss. The statue's eyes dimmed, its dark power fading away. Uduma's lifeless body lay on the forest floor, a reminder of the terrible events that had taken place in the heart of the woods. Later, The villagers would discover Uduma's body and grieve for him. They would share tales of his courage and sacrifice, remembering him as a hero. Thank you for watching. Kindly share your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Also, click the notification button to get notified each time I post a new video. See you on my next video.